Hey everyone, we constantly hear ads saying this product is eco-friendly or this car runs on environmentally friendly energy. These phrases are used by companies to market their so-called green products, making you feel a sense of responsibility every time you walk into a store, whether you're buying a toothbrush, a bed, or even a car. And of course, these products are often more expensive than regular ones, supposedly because manufacturers are sacrificing certain aspects to protect the environment. But are these products really as eco-friendly as they claim? Or is there more to the story? That's what we're going to find out in today's episode, so stick around. Welcome, I'm Adam Carter. To understand this whole thing, we first need to define what an eco-friendly product actually means. Simply put, eco-friendly products are designed and manufactured with the goal of reducing pollution. There are a few key standards they need to meet to truly be considered green. For example, they should be made from natural or recycled materials, decompose quickly and naturally, and not leave any harmful impacts on the environment. If it's an energy-powered device, it should be energy efficient. The product should also be sustainable, meaning it's produced in a way that minimizes resource use. Finally, it should come with minimal waste. Think packaging, instruction manuals, all the stuff we usually throw out as soon as we open the box of any product. These are great guidelines, and if they were followed, the world would be a better place. But I hate to break it to you. Most of the products you see in supermarkets labeled as eco-friendly have little to do with these standards. The advertising around these products? A lot of it's greenwashing, a fancy word for companies pretending to be environmentally conscious when they're really not. The term greenwashing was coined in 1983 by environmentalist Jay Westerveld. At the time, he was still a university student. While staying at a hotel, he saw a sign in the bathroom that read, "Reuse towels to help protect the environment and save coral reefs." But Jay wasn't buying it. He knew the hotel was expanding by taking over acres of farmland, so how could they really care about the coral reefs? The truth is, they just wanted to cut costs on laundry, and that's how greenwashing was born. Fast forward to 3 years later, and while Jay was writing a college research, he officially used the term for the first time. It spread like wildfire after that, and became the go-to phrase for calling out companies that pretend to be eco-friendly to make a profit. These days, we see the same thing, products plastered with words like green, sustainable, or safe for the planet, especially as awareness of climate change grows. But a lot of it is just clever marketing, and people are falling for it just like they did back in the day. And this isn't even new. Back in the 1960s, American electric company Westinghouse was one of the pioneers of misleading green advertising. In response to protests against nuclear energy, they ran a series of ads about how nuclear energy was clean and safe and couldn't even harm an ant walking by. One of their most famous ads showed a nuclear plant next to a crystal-clear lake with the message, "We build nuclear plants to give you cleaner, more efficient energy." Westinghouse wasn't the only company doing this. Weyerhaeuser, known as the Forest Destroyer, they launched an ad campaign claiming they cared about the fish, and in the commercial, they showed themselves cutting down trees and feeding the trees to the salmon. More recent examples? How about when McDonald's swapped out plastic straws for paper ones, claiming it was better for the environment, only for it to be revealed later that the paper straws weren't even recyclable? It was all just to ride the trend. In the 1980s, oil giant Chevron launched its People Do campaign, featuring their employees saving animals like bears and turtles. It was a huge hit, even winning advertising awards, but had nothing to do with the fact that Chevron is an oil company that pollutes the environment. And let's not forget Nestlé, one of the biggest plastic polluters out there. Many of their products are labeled as a single use, with the classic recyclable symbol on the packaging. But guess what? Most of it isn't recyclable at all. Studies have shown that over 90% of eco-friendly products in major markets like the US, UK, and Australia are guilty of some form of greenwashing. They don't meet the majority of eco-friendly criteria, but companies market them that way to tap into the growing number of environmentally conscious consumers. It's all about profits, not planet saving. That's what the capitalism lead us to. With greenwashing becoming so rampant, some governments are stepping in. Canada, for instance, has banned misleading environmental claims in advertisements. Meanwhile, the US Federal Trade Commission has issued a green guide to help companies advertise responsibly, but it's just a guide. It's not enforceable, and many companies simply ignore it. So, you might be wondering, if companies are going through all this trouble to greenwash, why don't they just make genuinely eco-friendly products in the first place without scamming? Well, it's not that simple. For one, creating truly eco-friendly products is much more expensive than producing normal ones. That would push prices up, making them less competitive in a market where most consumers prioritize low prices. Then, there's the complexity of the supply chain. To ensure a product is truly eco-friendly, companies would have to rethink every step of the process, from sourcing raw materials to manufacturing to distribution. There's also the issue of demand. Even though there's growing interest in eco-friendly products, not all consumers are willing to pay the higher price. And let's face it, the technology we have today isn't yet advanced enough to produce 100% sustainable products on a large scale. Finally, some of the materials that would make a product last longer are often the very ones that are hardest to break down. So, there's a trade-off between durability and environmental impact. The takeaway? It's up to us as consumers to do our research and be cautious when we see products marketed as eco-friendly. And there are plenty of ways to help the environment on a personal level. Stay tuned for a future video where I'll share some tips on that. That's it for today. Got questions? Drop them in the comments and I'll make a video answering them.